Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Exoria. So, we're picking back up not too long after last episode, because I wanted to go ahead and get started on the next building episode. And we're going to be building and working on our house, which, like I said, it's going to be built back here. It's going to be a little ways away from the base, but there's going to be other stuff that, kind of comes up through here, and it's back behind it and everything. So I want to get started on that this episode, and it's going to be a fairly large build. Like I said, this episode is there's probably going to be, a couple other episodes between this episode, actually, when it comes out from start to finish. So it's going to be a fairly large build, so just a heads up. But we're going to be building back here, and I'm going to go ahead and get started on basically the framework of it, laying out the base of it, like the foundation, and then I'll be back here in just a bit once we get the foundation laid and get ready to move on to the next step. Okay, it's been a little while since I last cut, and I've actually got the frame down, like the foundation kind of started. I mean, there is going to be some changes. I'm going to add some wood and stuff like that around throughout this, but let me deal with this guy real quick. But anyways, this is what I've got so far, and this is kind of like my little working area, because this was all of our stone, our smooth stone. I've been using a lot of that. So, but anyways, we kind of have the pathway come up, and there's like a little courtyard area here, and then a path that goes off to the side, and then this will eventually be two different entrances. And these may change. I just kind of like the dry fitted stone, so I was wanting that like good cobblestone look, and I kind of want the stairs to match that. So I don't know. There might be something. I'm still playing around with it. This is just a very rough foundation work at the moment. But anyways, there's going to be a door here, and that's going to be a chimney, like long term. It's going to be a chimney right there, and then we can walk around off to this side here, and it's kind of like a porch area, and then a doorway here, like the main entry door, and then the pathway comes through, and it kind of opens up right here. That'll make sense soon. And then it comes around, and then there's just steps that bring us down, to like a lower section here, a lower back porch area, and then it comes through, which this actually has to get brought out a little bit, and there's going to be some entrances inside from here. But for right now, I've just kind of been working on the foundation of this. It's actually really, really big. It's bigger than I was originally thinking when I started building it, which is fine. It's going to be a nice big house for us. A couple different stories here and everything. But right now it's all just foundation. It's all pretty much dry fitted stone. And then I've been spreading out the the dirt from clearing this stuff out, kind of spreading the dirt out and letting the grass start to spread. So that's the work thus far. And I mean, it's taken a while, but I've got pretty much the framing of it done. Then I can do, little adjustments and stuff here and there. And like I said, I want to add some wood, along the foundation, kind of contrast against that dry fitted stone. I think it's going to look pretty nice once it's done. I still have a little bit more dry fitted stone to place. You can see right here it kind of drops off. It needs to be brought around and connect over to here. So this whole back section, you're going to be able to see the foundation. And this is where kind of the wood is going to come into play. So a lot of wood and a lot of overhangs and stuff like that. So, which actually I noticed one small change I might make over here. Maybe we'll see. We shall see. So, anyways, that's the progress thus far. I just wanted to bring you guys back so you could see the foundation work. Basically just drawing a border at the moment. More than anything, that's the main purpose of this. But I may actually, this section right here, I may actually shift this out like maybe 3 or 4 blocks. I think I will probably. I'll have to do some thinking, but I might. Oh, no, actually, no, I won't have to. Never mind. Scratch that. That's actually how I want it, because this is just the foundation, not the actual building. So, yeah, this is good. This is good. So, anyways, I'm going to cut for a bit longer. I'm going to actually start working on, maybe some of the structure itself, some of the floor, some of the detail. And I'll bring you guys back in a reasonable amount of progress. So... and it is possible I may record an episode between now and then. We'll see. But it just depends on where I get on time and everything. So anyways, I'll be back here in just a bit. Okay, it's been a little while since the last recording. And I've set up kind of a little temporary spruce farm right here, because I've been using a lot of spruce wood So I wanted to show you guys this, basically just farming 2x2 spruce for the wood that we need, because we need quite a bit of it as we progress through this build. So if we take a look up here, like look at this. Look at this monstrosity on the map. It's it's fairly big at the moment, to say the least. Definitely the biggest build I think we've done on here. I mean, the bridge was pretty big, but definitely the biggest structure that we've been building. And if we head on through, I will say, I mean, it's far from done. It is. It's far from done. Like I said before, I think this build may end up taking a couple build videos. I mean, just because of the massive scale of it. I mean, we're building a full-fledged house. Not really even a house. Just like, it's a big monster of a structure. So over here, I've started placing down some of the walls. Of course, these are just bare. Here's a wall, or where a wall is going to be. I will say that these right here that run through the middle aren't even going to stay this wood type. It's just what I had on hand that wasn't basalt. So I figured I'd go ahead and lay that down because I'm going to need it for the outside. So it's not, you know, it's not a waste or anything like that. So over here, we've kind of got a chimney. It still has to be shaped up because right now it's literally just a 3x3 box at the moment. So it's going to be a chimney right here. And then I've got cutouts here for where windows are going to be. There's cutouts over here. There's going to be some windows. You know, I got to start putting them in, and then I'll put the, you know, the boards below it and the sides and figure out exactly what I'm working with. And then, of course, all this is going to be interior structure that runs back through here. And then we're going to have, like, this main entryway that runs, you know, from here all the way over to here, just open. Well, sort of open. There's going to be this big chimney in the center of this room, which also still has to be shaped up. And then it's going to connect over to here, and there's going to be more rooms off on each side here. And then if we head down here, we'll go ahead and check this out. So I have done one thing differently. I have actually changed this up a little bit. So this is actually going to wrap around this, and we're going to have a big back section here, which I haven't started implementing. I've got a deforest, which I did actually add space for the foggy pine, or the live foggy oak, or the foggy oak. And then these trees here, the deceivers. And then I also added space for the other one, the prickly, I think it is. I think it's called. Yeah, prickly. So these right here, I added those into drawers. So just a heads up on that. And then right here, there's going to be a doorway that leads to a staircase that I'm going to have to do. Probably chisel in bits and bring those stairs down. And then, of course, we're going to have windows here that kind of overlook the exterior section there. And then right here, it's going to lead to another small little, like, porch area, like covered porch. So, hey, you! I will take it. I actually got another step assist earlier. Blindness 1. And right now I'm getting slime balls. Sadly, the rosin doesn't work for everything that requires slime balls. It does not work for... these are sealed planks from embers, and it does not work for crafting those. I've been turning cactus into slime balls with alchemy catalyst, and then just planks, which planks are about to get a whole lot easier, but I can just make sealed planks like that. So it's not too bad. And then, of course, shakes and spruce wood, and then the dry fitted stone. That's the main thing I've been using so far. Of course, there's going to be more materials as we get farther into the build, but those are the primary materials for right now. So, actually not terribly expensive, especially after the next episode, because we're going to have wood kind of automated, and it's going to be a lot easier to generate wood. And I'll probably actually do the farm as spruce. Originally, I was thinking about doing oak. I may actually do it as spruce just so that we have spruce, because I'm using spruce shakes. I'm using spruce wood. So I think going with spruce might be better for us. But at the same time, I mean, I can farm up spruce really quickly with the 2x2s. So I don't know. I haven't decided for sure yet which wood type we're going to go with. But anyways, that's the progress thus far. I mean, it's just a lot of framing. I mean, it's a massive structure. So a lot of framing work, and there's like no detail whatsoever at the moment. I'll probably start the roof in this middle section, because basically this middle section, it's going to have its own roof that connects onto the other roofs here. It's actually a lot of roof work that I have to do. Once we get up there, it's a ton of roof work, because we have to have like these little overhangs all throughout the exterior, and it's actually a ton of work. But that's the work thus far, and actually it's starting to come together like the building that I'm kind of basing it on. It's loosely based on. I mean, the exterior is going to look more akin to the actual structure than the interior will be. I guess there's going to be some interior changes for sure, but the exterior for right now, I mean, the exterior is pretty much on par with the actual structure. I will say this staircase could probably be moved out a little bit. I'm going to change that. I changed that up a little bit from the design that I'm kind of basing this on. So this staircase will be pushed forward, and this would connect outside, if I recall, but I'm not going to have it that way. So a few minor changes like that, but the structure is pretty well based off of a certain structure. And I'm not going to tell you guys what it is right now. You know, if you guys have guesses or anything like that, you can guess. But I will say that it's starting to come together like the structure that I have in mind. It is, especially this exterior section. It's starting to shape up nicely, I think. Right now I'm just trying to get the baseline done. So my main focus between this cut and the next cut is to continue bringing up the walls a little bit. Also probably start putting in some windows and maybe start the roof there in the center. And I will say there might be an episode between this cut and the next cut. I'm not for sure yet. So, and then the windows, we're actually going to be using the Architecture Craft window mullions and corners and frames. Well, probably just frames and mullions. I don't know. I might put a corner window. I mean, it doesn't really match the original idea for this, but I don't know. I might put some corner windows. We'll see. But these you can actually do glass panes in them, so you can make the window, the window panes. Like for example, I'll just do it out of Rune Stone. I got tons of Rune Stone. So for example, if I got a couple window blocks here, and let me pop over and let me grab some glass panes real quick, just so I can show this to you, because if you haven't ever done this with Architecture Craft, I know Architecture Craft isn't by default in this pack, but that's not our fault. So anyways, if you have your windows placed, then you can take your glass panes and just right click them into there and say you can do that. And you can also do like the dyed panes and stuff. So I'll probably end up using window panes just to, bring it all together nicely. And the nice thing is whenever you break these, you do get back the panes. So all I wasted was some Rune Stone, which I have infinite of. So, but anyways, I'll be back once I get a bit more work done on this and bring the structure up. And you can kind of see it off there in that clearing. And I will say there's going to be some landscaping back behind this. I'm actually going to do. I mean, the exterior landscaping is not going to be exactly like what I'm basing it off of, but I am planning on like this is going to come back probably to about right here, and yeah, I'm going to say probably about right there, and then we're going to do just a big, probably just a big lower elevation kind of like lake that'll be kind of overlooking. Just a small lake, I think. It might end up being big. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, this grass is taking forever to spread too, by the way. Because, I mean, it hasn't been a massive amount of time since the last cut. It's been probably about 4 hours, maybe. So not a massive amount of time. I mean, this part's been actually fairly easy. Just farming spruce is really all it's been. But that's all the grass that has spread in like 4 hours. So hopefully eventually it'll be done. But anyways, I'll be back here in a bit once I get a bit more work done. Okay, it's been a while since the last cut, like a good long while. And I'm actually standing over here on top of the storage building just to show you something. We turn around here, you can see the house from here. It's getting big. I will say that since the last cut, the house hasn't yet gone through some major changes, but it is about to go through some major changes. So I wanted to bring you guys back and explain that to you, like what I'm about to do and stuff, and show you the progress, because I've actually got quite a bit done. Now, I've really only been working on the roof, getting all the roof putting in, or started. The roof started, it's not actually done. But if you take a look here, you can see we actually kind of have a roof on top of this. Now, I will say it's not going to stay basalt. I just did basalt, and what I'm going to do is you can craft, right over here, if we take a look in Architecture Craft, this right here, the cladding, you can craft the cladding and just place that on top. And I'm going to do kind of like shingles on the top of it, and then of course from the bottom it's going to be a different block there. So the basalt's not even going to be visible. I just did that because it's cheap. I have lots of basalt, and then I'll do the cladding on top of it with maybe a more expensive block. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to use for the roof. I was actually debating about maybe arcade bricks or something like that, but I'm going to take it into a test world, like duplicate it into a test world, and I'm going to do some testing with the blocks and see what I like as a roof. Now you'll notice that a lot of this roof does not line up with the walls. Okay, that's one of the major changes that's about to take place. So basically, when I was first building this, I was heavily basing it off of the design that I'm kind of building from, like that, like the building that kind of inspired this build. I was very heavily designing it like it was almost identical on the front. Like it looked like, although I mean the blocks and the textures are a little bit different, but it looked almost the exact same layout and style. But what I've decided is I'm going to change it up a bit, which I figured I'll probably end up changing some things. I'm going to change the exterior up a bit, and I'm going to have the roof not quite as even as it was going to be. You know, the walls and stuff like that, not quite as even with the front. So this part is actually going to, kind of trim back, and then, the walls will start like right in here. And so it's going to be a bit more thin throughout the sides. I mean, the center is still really thick. These walls will need to get pulled back a little bit because you can see like there's the roof. So it's going to be, it's going to be a little bit more thin throughout here. But it actually kind of works out, and it's also kind of necessary because I don't have the ability. I have to do basically a block for block slope. I can't really do, without doing chisels and bits and making the roof look really blocky, I can't really change the incline rate of this. So I think it's gonna look nice, because what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim back, this wall, and it's gonna be, down along through here, and then maybe through this little section do like a little garden, like flowers and stuff like that. And then over here on this side, I'm gonna do, something up here. The porch area is actually probably gonna stay where it's at. In truth, I don't know that I'm gonna trim back much of the porch. So instead we'll have a little bit more outdoor space on the house, and sacrifice some of that inside space. Now I will say I've still got a bit of roof work to do. This is just a rough outline, because I'm actually going to have some windows that may kind of pop out of the roof and stuff, but I just kind of wanted like a baseline to start with. So in the back, I'm going to have to trim back these walls as well. Not a big deal. And what I'm probably going to do is have the door actually connect in right here. And then you can kind of walk out on here, and then there'll still be the stairs that come down into this back section, this lower back section as well. So I think it's going to work out, because we're going to have a lot of like little outdoor nooks that we can kind of access from this house. And then over here, this wall just needs to be trimmed back by like 2 blocks. This little exterior space is maybe going to stay, and then I'm going to do a roofed overhang. This is gonna cover the outdoor area over here. And then all these roofs kind of come out like a block from the wall, so they'll kind of stick out. Now this section right here, the roof is all matched up, like it's perfect. This little roof is great. I like it, and I like the arch here. It looks nice and everything. Of course, there's still got to be windows and stuff put in, but it's a big build. It takes forever. I mean, this build video, we're probably not even going to start on the inside. We're mainly just going to be getting the exterior at least semi-decent. So, but yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of walls to trim back, and some small little changes like that to make. And then I've got to add windows on the roof, and then I've got to do the cladding on the roof, and yeah. That's going to be the main thing I work on between this cut and next is, tidying up the roof a bit, adding windows, things like that, adding the cladding across it, and then fixing the walls. So we should have, by the next cut, we should have the actual walls of the house replaced. Now, one thing I am thinking about doing, I'm going to pop into a test world and play around with it for a bit, but I'm actually thinking about changing away from the shakes, because I just feel like I ended up going with the sealed planks up here because I really like these. In an ideal world, I would maybe like a winch, but I don't know, because I don't think they look quite as good as the sealed planks. I mean, they're more of like the vanilla Minecraft looking planks, just a different color, whereas these sealed planks kind of have that, like, I don't know, really natural look to them almost. So I think I would probably still stick with the sealed planks. I actually quite like these. But since I'm using the sealed planks up here, and it just looks really, really, like, crisp. And then you look at these shakes, and they're not quite as crisp looking. So I may end up changing this to, like, a different type of wall. So I've got to do some testing on that front as well. I may have all that changed over by the next cut as well. So, I mean, I'm kind of having to break down a lot of the work that I initially did. But that's just part of building. It happens. It tends to happen. I'll start building, and then I'm like, well, let's actually change all this. Yeah, but I'm really happy with the roof. I like the curves, and it's all like really nice and seamless. And then once we add the windows and kind of that little, like, adding those windows up here, a lot of the reason I want to do that is just because adding these windows kind of jutting out of the roof is just going to add like another layer of depth and detail to this roof. And then once we put the cladding on, I think it's going to look really, really nice. And then I may, actually between cuts, I may try to work on shaping up those fireplaces so they look a little bit more natural and not so bulky and blocky. So I may try to get those kind of cleaned up and everything. So I'm kind of working from the top down somewhat. You know, I started at the bottom, but now I'm kind of working from the top down. And it's actually kind of working with this build because a lot of this, as you approach this building, the big focal points of this is going to be the roof and the windows. Because it's going to have a lot of windows. It's going to be a really bright building and a lot of like attention to detail as far as the roof goes. So I mean, that's going to be, I think, the two big selling points. I mean, there's going to be a lot of exterior decor and stuff like that. But and I'm actually really excited about this. I think it's probably my favorite house already. I think it's probably my favorite house I've ever done. So I think it'll be nifty. So, and then we kind of have like this nice long section that comes out. We've got a lot of interior space to put rooms and different things. So, and honestly, if I wasn't going for the certain like kind of rustic feel and style, I would actually say that I like the basalt roof in truth, because I don't know, it looks like a really nice roof as is. But that basalt's not really the style and color scheme and stuff like that I'm wanting to use with this build. So I will. Chances are I'm going to change it. I plan on changing it anyways, but who knows. Anyways, I'll be back in a bit. Like I said, the main focus on this cut that I'm going to be doing is roof work, windows, coming out of the roof, and then fixing the walls that we initially had put down, and possibly changing away from the wood shakes to something else. Like I said, I still have to play around with that, and what I want to use is for the shingles and the cladding. I kind of wish we had access to earthwork stuff. But I haven't found any of the slate. Because I was actually thinking like maybe the purple slate shingles or the blue slate shingles or something like that. But I don't have earthworks. And I don't know where to get these at the moment. I don't know what dimension. I almost think it might not be until the overworld before we can get the earthwork stuff. Which is kind of a bummer. It is kind of a bummer, I have to say. But I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out for this. So, anyways, I'll be back here in a while. Maybe a day, I don't know. It's very, very time consuming. I mean, a lot of this stuff is like little detail-y things. And the roof actually didn't take as long as it probably looks like it would have taken. Because I could literally go through here and just like place out the wedges and then just run them back. And then what I did was I just kind of tore this out and added... the gable roof and like the gable roof blocks here at the top, and just kind of framed it all in with that sealed planks, and it was actually all pretty decently quick in truth. So, and then I just had to like clean up these little corners. These were like the last things that I did, was these like little wedges kind of running down the sides, and basically all the little corner sections. That was the last thing that I did. So but anyways, I'll be back here in a while, a day or a couple days, I don't know. Okay, it's been almost 2 days since the last cut. Part of the thing that took so long was I did have to farm up materials for some of this, but part of the thing that took so long is I actually totally redid pretty much all the blocks, for the most part, that we had placed, because since I ended up changing some of the roof colors and the wall colors, then I had to change the porch colors, and it basically resulted in a big chain reaction of things I had to change. I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out so far, and we still have a lot of work to go to go through, but let me deal with this guy here. We still have a lot of work to do, but it's definitely coming along. I haven't put the actual windows in, like the glass and the frames. Those aren't put in, but I have been doing a lot of work on the roof and doing the chimneys and stuff. And I'm not 100% sold on this design. It's possible that might change, but as of right now, I actually kind of like it. But anyways, I went through with, of course, conversion wand, and I changed out all of that stone that we were using. I changed it all over for ashen bricks. These are just 4 stone and a piece of ash, so still super cheap. And then I did Rune Stone. Now this isn't ideal. Like I said, I duplicated this in a test world, and what I would really like to go with, is the burnt limestone. I really like the way that looks, but I can't. I don't have limestone. Like, I could make the chisel limestone with the clastic deposition, which actually, out of curiosity, what all can we make with that? White sand, red sandstone, red sand, sandstone, white sandstone, limestone, sand, dried sand, and gravel. Okay. Nothing that I need right this second anyways, but anyways, I would like to go with the limestone, and what we'll do is, one of these days, whenever we do find limestone, I'll probably end up maybe changing out the porch. I mean, the Rune Stone actually looks alright, but I like the way that limestone looked a bit more in the test world. And I can't remember if I was looking at the limestone or the burnt limestone. I have to pop back into my test world, but and I think it was the bricks version that I had laid out, but basically I had like little chunks of the porch laid out with different bricks just to like compare it and everything. But anyways, I have changed all of the porch over to the Rune Stone and the ashen bricks, you know, all the way around. The ashen brick as more of the foundation, and the Rune Stone is kind of like the walkways. So, and I still have to do some stuff on the back because I want these posts to kind of look like they connect into the ashen brick. There's a lot of little detail things like that. Like, it's starting to come together. I'm happy with the way it's coming together. The roof is, for the most part, done. There's a couple things that I may add as like decoration and detail. Between this cut and the next cut will be when I add DecoCraft, Melissa Stores, and probably fairy lights. I love my decoration mods. I just stick them all in there, you know. I'm probably going to add those into the pack, so I don't know if I'll get to actual decorations between this cut and next, but because right now I'm just mainly trying to get the architecture down. By the way, the chimneys have a ferrocolite flagstone drain right there that I have opened. And then down there I just have magma rack with flint and steel. I wish I had like a smoking block from Twilight Forest or from Railcraft or something like that, but I don't. I don't have that in this pack. So I think magma rack with fire is about the best I can do at the moment. So, but anyways, I've also changed the blocks that I'm using for the walls. So I'm sticking with the spruce wood. That's like about the only thing that stayed the same for my original plans for this build. But it's actually gotten even cheaper. It couldn't be easier. I'm using basalt. Wide brick basalt for the walls. Because I like the way that the black contrasted on the roof so much, but I didn't want that on the roof. So I ended up using the basalt there, and I quite like it. I think it's got that crisp, clean look, while still having the color scheme and stuff that I want. And of course, it's a detour from just the wood cabin kind of look of this, but I actually quite like it. I don't know. I like the basalt. It's quite a bit different than it was, you know, in the last well, 2 cuts ago. So, anyways, if we pop inside, we'll go ahead and walk through first. I haven't done anything really with the fireplace yet, but I have added the sealed planks floors. By the way, our wood cutting system is working perfectly. We are capped on planks, like in chests and like buffers and all of that stuff. We're capped on planks, and we are actually almost capped on wood as well. And then earlier it randomly got some spruce wood from somewhere, so I had to deal with that. And also the farm does produce sand, which I don't have in a filter, so I had to empty that out earlier. There was like a stack and a half of sand in there, so it was kind of backed up. But I emptied that out earlier, and it was running again. But I've got to upgrade the filter so that they can store more. But anyways, I've started working on some of the beams and supports. They still have a long ways to go. I mean, it's just like it's kind of patchy at the moment. There's like, randomly there's some support beams that I've started running, but for the most part, why is everything attacking me all of a sudden? And the supports, they're not really even done yet, but I just started kind of running them because I had to put on the second floor so that I could figure out exactly where I wanted windows. So I did go ahead and put the supports on there. I haven't put the staircase in. I also shifted this a little bit so we kind of have like the little porch area here. And I am going to do kind of like an overhang that comes out here, which may be in by the next episode. I haven't really started into the overhangs yet, but maybe by the next cut. We'll see. We'll see how things go. But I also have to do a little bit of deforestation, because I just have trees like encroaching on me here. And then if we come through here and we pop upstairs, which I think I've added some door holes right there, right there. I've got to put one over here as well. And yeah. Anyways, if we pop upstairs, I did run the sealed planks. I went ahead and ran those through because then I'm going to have like wedges that come up, and we're going to kind of have that that sloped roof all throughout this upstairs, which I love sloped roofs. I love them in architecture. You know, for like upstairs areas and stuff. I remember as a kid, one of my friends, like in elementary school, had his bedroom had like the sloped roof, and I fell in love with that room, because I love that design. I don't know, I just think it adds so much to a room to have that sloped roof. So we're going to do that all throughout the upstairs here and have it all slope and taper off, up against the wall there. And then we have window seals, and I still have to do work on the tops and everything. The inside I haven't done much. It's all basically basalt, which it's not going to be long term. But I have added these little window seals, and these took, they actually didn't take too long. They took longer to come up with the design in my test world than to actually build out. But anyways, they're 4 wide, and I will say that the window itself is actually going to be probably set, it's probably going to be set back by 1 block, so the window is actually going to be like butted up against this section. This is going to be kind of more like a window seal. But I've still got a little bit of work to figure out exactly how I'm going to place the windows and how I'm going to do it from the interior side. But the exterior, you can see, like, that's actually that wedge, that random archaic wedge, and then I can put cladding on that to hide it, which it actually might change, depending. That actually might be it may not be a wedge long term, but anyways, it just all kind of comes together on the outside. So you have the archaic bricks. By the way, the archaic bricks, you can see it actually shows architectural basalt blocks, but then I did the cladding, and I actually just farmed up the archaic blocks or bricks from mobs because I found that it was actually quicker just to farm them than to craft them. Since I don't have the archaic bricks, the embers crafting automated yet. We're going to do that whenever we get to the embers building, which we would be working on that if I didn't decide that we were going to work on the house right now. But I found that it was actually quicker just to farm the mobs with the looting sword. But the nice thing is, for every 4 archaic bricks that I got, I crafted them to the brick block, and then I could make 16 cladding. So it's actually, the roof isn't as expensive as it looks. It's still kind of expensive with the amount of archaic bricks, but most of it I was able to finish with just the archaic bricks that I had on hand. So it really didn't take a ton of farming to finish it out. By the way, this chimney is pretty much identical to that one over there. I'm still debating on the chimney designs. So we've kind of got these little window seals. We got 3 right there, 3 on the opposite side. We have 2 sticking out of the front section there. And these are all like the exact same design. They're going to get spruced up slightly, especially once we start adding the glass in there, but for right now it's just like the base shape. We have 1 over here, and then we have 2 on the opposite side. So that way we kind of have like quite a bit of windows kind of sticking out, plus we're going to have these big bay windows on this side, and then over here we're going to have windows there and windows down below it, which I still have a bit of work to do. I still have a bit of work. I'm still working on the front and how I want to do it. I am going to use a lot of architecture craft and maybe some chisels and bits to kind of spruce up the front, so it's not just these pillars here, but we'll get to that later. So, but anyways, that's the main stuff that I've been doing. It's just kind of working on all of this. I will say there's going to be a railing here, so you can kind of overlook into that section. Which at first I was planning on having some like little rooms throughout there, but I think I'm just going to do one big like open like living room area, right? So this is all going to be one big living room, and then we'll have probably some doors. There we go. I was wondering who's shooting at me. We'll have maybe some doors that lead into here, and then you know, we'll have some other rooms. And then down through here, we'll probably have some separated rooms. But we'll see. I'm still working on exactly the whole upstairs layout. So, and I'm thinking like right over in this area is going to be our big like master bedroom, because I love all these like windows, and then we'll have the arch ceiling. I think it's going to look nice. And then the stairs are going to connect up over into this section. So, but I've still got to figure out exactly how I'm going to implement all of that stuff. Like where exactly I want everything, you know. And then of course we're going to have a dining room, kitchen type area. I was debating on if I'm going to put that like maybe in here or maybe over here. I don't know. Probably downstairs. I think it would make more sense downstairs. So, but it's going to be a really spacious. It's going to be a really spacious house. I think it'll be nice. It'll be very, very nice, I think. Or we could put the kitchen over here and then have like an outdoor place to eat. I don't know. I've still got to figure all that out. I got time. I have time, so I'm not rushing it. I'm definitely taking my time going through this. So anyways, I mean, I think that's covered everything that I've done. I mean, like I said, it was just a big drastic change of blocks. And if you want to see like the outside, like how I did the roof, like because some of these sections are kind of abnormal almost. So like this one here kind of like splits off and it goes, because this is actually a lower set roof. So I had to do little disconnects like that, but I think they actually work. I think they look nice. And then on the other side, over here, I've kind of done the same thing on this side. So, and kind of split that off. So, and that's the main place where I have those little disconnects. I mean, this roof all kind of connects over and stays level. It's just connecting to that, what's going to be like our big living room den area is a lower set roof. So, but I actually like the way it looks. And it kind of adds like that architectural, like little detail that you kind of, I don't know. I kind of like hone in on. I'm like, oh, I like that. But anyways, I think that's mainly covered everything. It's still very bare bones, mainly the roof, but I'm happy with the roof. The roof was like such a big part of this, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. So now I just have to, between cuts, I'm going to be working on some little small detail things, like maybe having this look like it comes down, you know, into that. So this will kind of stick out a little bit probably, because I don't want to just tear up the ashen brick and then just bring the pillar down, because then I think it looks kind of odd. But I don't know. I've got to play around with that, how I want those to come down, because I also have to take into account right here I have stairs. So I'm probably going to end up trimming off some of those stairs. I'm still going to have a 3-wide staircase, but I don't know. We'll see. Or I may even just bring this whole like wall out by one. I don't know. I've got to play around with that. And then I'm going to work on some of the walls and, you know, actually making these start to come together, like have the window cutouts and everything where they're going to be, the door cutouts where they're going to be. And then I may work on adding the actual window panes upstairs. I don't know if I'll get the ones downstairs, but I'll probably work on getting the ones upstairs and figuring out how this is going to be laid out from the inside. It'll be a lot of that stuff. I may make some small changes like with that I mentioned. I'm going to play around with that a little bit. But mainly it's going to be actually building in the walls and stuff. Because I've already, judging by the time, I'm not going to be able to finish this entire. It's going to take up at least probably 2 build videos, because we'll have one that's more the main frame of the house, and then one that's more like the detail of the house kind of a thing. And then, like I said, I'll do a bit of decorating and stuff. Some on camera, some off camera. But yeah, that's the progress thus far. And I hope you guys like the color change. I actually quite love it myself. I quite love it. Because I just think these colors fit a bit better together. It's almost like an embers and roots building at the moment. It's very embers and roots heavy. But anyways, I'll be back here in just a bit once I get a bit more work done. And we'll see where we get to. Okay, it has been close to a day since I last cut. And a lot of that time I was actually out exploring, looking for Misty World Stonewood. I never could find it. I'm not sure what biome it spawns in. One of the few types of wood I haven't been able to find in the Misty World. But I spent a while looking for that, probably an hour and a half, just flying around looking for that wood. Never could find it. I haven't seen it thus far. So I ended up changing my design. I actually found a design I liked a lot more than the Misty World Stonewood for the ceiling in part of the house. So I've actually got a little bit of the ceiling up. Also, I did add Melissa's doors, DecoCraft, and fairy lights to the pack. I have not started using them yet. I just didn't get around to that yet. But I did add them to the pack, and this newer version of Melissa's doors does have the large double doors, which is really awesome. It has a variety of them, you know, rusty double doors, acacia double doors, like just big double door versions, and they're extra large too. So those are in the pack, and I'm super excited about that. So we will probably be using some of those. So we'll see. But anyways, if we head on through, if we head on over here to the house, not 100% done. It's not going to be 100% done in this first build video just because it's so big and there's so much to it. But you can see I've actually got windows put in this now. And I'm fairly happy with the window design. This is, of course, a combination of window mullions and just windows. And then I did a light gray stained glass pane through there. And I think it actually looks pretty good. And you can see it's all connected textures. It doesn't have like the standard vanilla Minecraft texture where it has that like bar running through it. Instead, it's just like a glaze of that window. So I did get those put in, and I'm fairly happy with the designs. They're a little bit different for like the 4 wide and then the 5 wide ones, but they kind of keep with the theme. And then up here we have little 2x2 windows that are just, you know, basic little window designs. Nothing too fancy. And I did get this done, and I kind of did like a little curved block that connects to that window, and I think it actually looks kind of nice there. I was playing around with it for a bit, and I'm actually really happy with that style. And then if we pop over here, these windows are slightly different. You can see they're a little bit more, because they're not as tall, they're a little bit more of like a thin or a more shallow window. So that's the design I went with these. Which this section of the house is almost like an attachment. You know, it's not even the roof. This is the only place where the roof isn't the same height and stuff like that. So I thought different windows there actually kind of looked kind of nice. It kind of made it pop out a little bit more. Now, the only windows I have not done are the ones on the big arches. So those little front and side sections there, and then the 2 windows here I have not done yet. I still have to get those implemented. And then if we're going to save that little section over there for the last. If we head over the interior of the house, I've actually spent a little bit of time in there as well. We'll get into there in just a second. But I have not brought those beams down yet. We will. You can actually see there's an overhang right there. We'll get to that in just a second, but I did add stairs here. Just kind of, I still have to bring this back section of the house back, so that we'll have kind of like a little area in the back here that's, you know, paved with that Rune Stone. Hey there, buddy. So that is going to get brought out. I just haven't done it yet. But if we head up here, you can see I have done an overhang, and this actually, it kind of like, it connects down, and then it connects into it with like a little curved block there. So, and then I'm gonna do supports. I just have not done those yet. Of course, it's not just gonna be like floating out here. There's gonna be supports that run all down along that ashen stone right there. So, anyways, I've got that on that side, and if we come over to the other side, I have put an overhang on this one as well. And it's identical. It's gonna have supports and stuff, but we have a little overhang on both sides in the back, so that way we can have like little sitting areas and stuff when it's raining. We can sit and watch the rain. I actually like watching the rain in the Misty World, or kind of being immersed in that, you know, having that rain and stuff. I do quite like it. So, but luckily in the house, it shouldn't rain in the house at all. We actually have a roof. Not totally done, but we do have a roof. So, oh, and this leads underneath the house. Eventually we're going to have a cellar down there once I get to that part. So, and then the inside down here, it's not drastically different. I mean, you can see this is all pretty much the same as you saw it in the last cut. I did pull these up. There's going to be kind of like a little wall. We're going to be going for kind of an open concept, kind of open feel to the house for most of the rooms, but I am going to do like a little divider right there. Is kind of what I'm thinking. I haven't decided exactly what all I'm going to do here, but I am planning on putting up some kind of a little divider for that right there. So. Oh, by the way, I am thinking about switching armor because my my mantle cartridge gets drained super fast. I've noticed that for a bit. Ever since I got the flying, I've noticed that my mantle cartridge drains pretty quick. So I have to charge it a lot, and so I am thinking about changing armor over. So over here, I've started doing supports. They're not done yet. I just basically put the logs down where there's going to be supports. And then in here I did a roof, which right now it kind of feels out of place because I haven't done, you know, the carpet or anything. So it kind of is like a weird contrast for where the roof's at, and then like the lower sections of the house, you know, the walls and stuff like that, because they're such a different drastic color. But I'm hoping that by the time I get all this stuff in and get all this stuff organized, I think it's gonna make sense, and I think it's gonna look nice. So fingers crossed. Because right now it does kind of contrast somewhat harshly. I mean, I like the contrast, but it's almost a little bit too much contrast. But I think once I get carpet and things like that in here, and a little bit of life to this, I think it's going to actually bring it all together nicely. So anyways, this is the roof that I was talking about. Originally I was planning on doing almost like a plank look with the stone wood, and I like the colors. But then I decided to go with carved misty wood. And this is a combination of, it's all cladding, it's basalt up there, but it's a combination of carved prickly trees and carved foggy oak, which we had plenty of. Just so happens it actually kind of worked out. But you can see these are all basalt blocks. That way I didn't have to carve so much wood, and I could just carve a little bit of it and do cladding with it. And the way you carve wood, by the way, is you just put down like a plank of wood, or a log, you know, from any tree, any Misty World tree, like those right down there, like just the full block of wood. You place it down, then you just right click it with an axe, and then it carves it. And if you right click it again, you end up with the debarking wood. So that's how you get those. So I did carve those up, and all the carved wood has like different little designs and textures. You can look through here, and there's all different kinds of them. And I thought they looked great on the roof. They almost have that, like, I don't know, like cabin homey feel, and I don't know, I like them a lot. So I just kind of did little pattern designs down through here. And it kind of has like a wow factor, because I know whenever I put it in there, every time I turn this corner, I'm just like, wow, like, you know. And then if I'm up here and I look down in through there, it's like, wow. And I think once we actually get like the living room look to it, I think it's gonna look really cool. And then we have a fireplace burning. I'm still thinking about expanding that fireplace. I'm actually considering widening it out here and bringing it out, so it has, like, you know, the embers are kind of like down in here and kind of make like a T shape, and then, you know, the smoke will go up through that chimney. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is actually widening it, because I don't want it to just be one wide, but I also like this back section only being like 3 wide. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is have it widen as it comes out. So I'm still playing around with it, but I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. So anyways, if we head upstairs, which I have not put the stairs in to go upstairs, but I have worked upstairs. You can see everything's kind of smoothed out a bit. And I did add kind of like a little trim of sealed planks all the way down through here. So you can see there's sealed planks that kind of, which of course that's what the floor is made of, but I think it looks good together. You know, it kind of is kind of like a trim, and then it comes up. A lot of sealed planks for this build overall. But anyways, you can see the windows from this side. Now this isn't going to be archaic bricks. It's going to have a cladding over it, but right now it's archaic bricks. If you recall, it was horizontal wedge. Like I had a horizontal wedge there, but then I changed it over to more of like a vertical wedge, because I think it looks better. So, and that's kind of the design I went with. So we kind of have like these really cool like triangular designs for the windows, and I think they look good. And I think once I actually get the cladding up for the roof, or for the ceiling, and, you know, I'm going to do sealed planks down throughout. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do the roof up here, so I haven't started it. But I think once we get the cladding and everything in here, I think it's going to look nice. I think it's going to look really, really nice. So, but anyways, that's the work I've done. I've smoothed all of this out, so we just have to add the cladding and everything. And I absolutely love these really high ceilings up here. Like, I don't know, it just gives me kind of like a wow factor when I come into these rooms, into this house. I really like it. I really, really like it. Like, I would totally live here. Like, it's probably a little bit out of my budget, but I would totally live here, I think. Especially once it's done. So, anyways, that is the work thus far. It's the same window design all throughout, but and then of course eventually we're gonna have like a bedroom back here, and all these nice windows and everything, and then we'll have the stairs. I'm still debating on a couple different places where I might put those, like stairs going up, and then of course we will have to put stairs going down as well. So I'm not for sure where I'm going to put the stairs going down. I do know that we'll also have, aside from just the inside connection to the cellar, we'll have outside connections to the cellars, like down through here, that'll kind of lead into the cellar area as well. So, and I'm still thinking that this area right through here will probably end up being the kitchen, I think. I think so. But I'm still debating, of course. And then also over here, I decided to cut down on one of those door openings. If you recall, I had a door opening like right in here. I decided to cut it out, just have a door opening here, and then the stairs actually connect to this little area. So I think it just feels, a little bit more fluid with the building and everything. And then, yeah, I think it works. So I hope you guys like it so far, because it has been a massive amount of work. Like, I think we have time for one more cut within this video, and actually I think I'm going to manage to get this video out for Saturday. You know, instead of doing a progression video, I think we're actually going to manage to get this out on Saturday, because right now it's Friday. It's about midday on Friday, so I have almost a day before this needs to be uploaded and ready to go. So maybe. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a little bit of Melissa's doors work and stuff like that. And then I think I'll have it out for you guys on Saturday. So you guys will know already. If you're watching this, you'll know when I published it. But barring anything extreme happening, I think I'll have it out by Saturday. So, which will be good. And then I can, I don't know if I'll pick back up immediately working on this or play with DecoCraft around the base a little bit. I don't know. I'm really excited to get this build together. I want a bedroom and out of the storage room and a little office and stuff like that. So I don't know, but anyways, I'll be back in a bit. I'm gonna do a bit more work. Like I said, I'm probably gonna just mainly be adding in the Melissa's doors, maybe try to stick some windows on this lower section, and then I'll probably bring these pillars down and maybe try to get the stairs implemented. Basically just little tasks like that to kind of clean it up for the end of our first build video, because it's going to be, like I said, probably 2 or 3 of these videos before we actually get this building done, because it's big. It's really, really big. So anyways, I'll be back in a bit once I have some more to show you guys. Okay, it has been a little while since the last cut, and I got quite a bit done, but I think it's all I'm going to be able to get done before, you know, this episode comes out. But I mean, we got a really big dent in this. You know, just within the course of this episode, like the course of like I don't know, close to a week of building. Of course, I was working on other stuff too, but I feel like we've put a dent into it, anyways. I still don't have these windows in, and then the other big arch windows. But I do have this front section kind of put in. There's still a couple things that I'm going to add to this, and I'll get those added, you know, as time goes on. But my main focus was to kind of get the front a little bit more presentable, a little bit nicer of an entryway. So I've shaped up all of our pillars so they're not just big square pillars. I also removed some of the ones, you know, that were in this section here, to kind of make the front look a little bit cleaner, because before it was kind of cluttered, you know, it was just kind of planning pillars, basically pillars and supports. So anyways, I have traded out the square pillars for rounded pillars with bases, and then these are like top sections that actually kind of they're the architecture blocks. They're the ones that have the flat top on there, so that way it kind of hides that that wood grain, you know, and I don't know, it makes it look a little bit nicer. So anyways, I've brought these through, and then right here we kind of have like an arch support that kind of comes up and supports this central pillar. And then I've kind of got like some little windows right there. Nothing too crazy, but I think it does look a lot nicer than it did. And like I said, I'm going to do, you know, I added fairy lights, I added DecoCraft, I added Melissa's doors. Of course, I've already done the Melissa's doors for the exterior, at least all the primary doors, leading into this building, into our home, our house. Our big super grand house. But I am going to hit this with a little bit of DecoCraft, a little bit of fairy lights, you know, once we get the key parts of the architecture done. So and then if we come through, let's see, there's a door over there. I put a couple pillars here just to kind of see how they look. I actually quite like them, so there'll probably be some pillars periodically throughout the build. We'll work on that in the next building episode. But Over here, I have brought this wall out and kind of brought the supports down, so it kind of, as you come down the steps, I think it kind of looks nice, the way that kind of juts out a little bit. Now, these pillars over here will probably see some nice cleanup work, maybe doing the rounded or something. I don't know. I've still got to play around with that, but anyways, we kind of got this little area kind of rounded out. I moved my bench over here. I'm going to start working on, well, the next thing I'll probably be working on, actually that'll probably go back to the main area of the base before I actually start working on it. But I want to start working on the fences, the rails that kind of run around this. And then back in here, I've done a bit of deforestation. I've brought this section out. You can see it kind of overhangs, and that's because we've got to work on this section back here. So I can figure out exactly how I want to lay all this out. But over here, I have changed up some of the doors. We have, a lot of these were like 2 spaces, and I have removed the ones that were in here, and I'm going to do something right there on both sides, actually. So there's only 1 door leading in on each of these wings from each side. So, and then over here, big double doors. I love Melissa's doors, the way they open and close and everything. Oh, I did make a door factory because originally I was planning on doing some custom doors, but then I went with the big double doors on each of the exterior doorways. So I didn't actually end up needing that, but I will, just not yet. And then door over here and door right here. So that is what I have done. Nothing too crazy, but I did get the doors in. I did get a lot of the front cleaned up. I mean, that's what the front looks like from the inside. And I think it looks really nice. And the windows just make this, you know, the lower section feels really open, which is what I was wanting. It feels really open, really almost like rustic, kind of nature-y. I don't know what the term would be, but you know, we have all this natural light coming in, and all these windows, and it just feels, I don't know, I love the way this lower section feels, because it feels like a nice open living area. You know, we'll have the kitchen, the living room, the den type area, you know, different little things like that. And this nice area where we can come out and kind of like greet the morning, so to speak. And then the upstairs, it's a little bit less light. I mean, there's still going to be these big windows that kind of let us see outside, let that light in. But for the most part, we have these smaller windows through here, and it feels a little bit more comfy, I think. So, and then they'll have the big windows there, and the big windows over there, and there, and there. And then I'll put a railing up here so we can kind of look down. Not for sure exactly what I'm going to put in this room down here. I don't know if I want to put like a den type area or what I want to do. I have so much space in this house. But I ended up leaving these sections closed up. Instead of adding a window there, I decided I want some places to like hang stuff, you know. And I think that will be suitable. And I was actually considering making this so that it meets the wall right here, and then the wall would be like too high for a flat section, but I decided to keep it like this. I actually like the really sharp edges there, like that sharp angle. So we'll probably do makeshift walls in here. I will say there is going to be doors up here, so there's going to be, I'm thinking there's actually probably going to be a divider maybe right here perhaps. We'll see. And then we'll have maybe a divider on the other side. So this is a little bit more closed in. You know, we're going to have bedrooms and stuff. Big open bedrooms that kind of span all the way back. So, I mean, they're going to be big. But, I mean, that's the nature of this building. It's just a massive structure. It's been a lot of fun to work on so far, I have to say. It has been a lot of fun to work on. And we've still got quite a bit to go. I really love this room. And I think once we have the fireplace in here burning and little sitting area and some carpet, I think this room's really gonna, I'm really excited about this little area. So, but I do quite like all this section once we get everything implemented into it. But yeah, that's the progress thus far. And I mean, it's just the first build video. Like I said, it's probably gonna take 2, possibly even 3 build videos before we get the majority of this done. So I will say that I'm not going to start the next build video immediately after this one. I'm going to take a little bit of time to go back. Now that I've got DecoCraft, Melissa Stores, Fairy Lights, I'm going to go back to the other section of the base. I'm going to do the junk piles. I also want to do a little bit of DecoCraft Fairy Light stuff And I also want to expand the farms. You know how I have that like wheat farm that doesn't really serve any purpose, but it's there. It doesn't serve a purpose now that we have it, you know, wheat automated. But I do want to add in more wheat and more of other crops. So I want to get on that and, you know, just kind of do a little bit of cleanup through there and maybe work a little bit in that desert area, start putting down the floor or the ground there, maybe another tank or two for some of our upcoming projects. And then, of course, I've got a bit of building to do on SevTech since that series is starting to wind down. I do want to get on there and do a bit of building. But I will return to this probably next week, some point. You know, whenever I get everything situated over there. We'll return back to this. I'll start the next build video for this. And in the next build video, we are going to be continuing work on the general overall exterior architecture will be the first thing. So rails, supports, adding the windows and cleaning up these supports on this side, the opposite side, and the back side. Maybe adding a few things to the front side there. Railings that kind of run around this area. Do the back section. Probably not really decorating as of yet. Probably not in the next build video. Probably not even going to touch decorating. But we'll try to get the exterior all cleaned up. All the windows in, all the exterior supports, rails, and then we'll move inside and actually start putting up walls with doors and you know, little balconies and the stairs, and then maybe even dig out the area that's going to connect up to the cellar. So we'll see. I mean, it's a big build. There's a whole lot to it, a whole lot. But I'm hoping that after the next build video, we'll actually start moving in somewhat, put a bed in and stuff, because I do want an office in this. Semi-decorative, semi-useful, because we'll actually be pulling off the trophies and using them to craft, you know, occasionally or whatever. But I'm thinking about setting up like a little trophy room for those. But anyways, I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys like the build so far. I'm actually super happy with it. And like I said, I know I mentioned this earlier in the video, but this is probably my favorite house that I've ever done. I'm really digging it. So, and it still kind of has that look and feel somewhat from the building that I originally was basing it off of. I mean, it's kind of moved away from it a little bit as far as like the color schemes and a little bit of the layout. But you know, the building that I was basing it off of was kind of more inspiration and not necessarily trying to replicate it exactly. So I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out. I'm very, very happy with it. So like I said, I would totally live here. I would totally live here. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll quit rambling now. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.